Hey y'all, welcome back to Confederate Shop's YouTube channel. So today I have a very fascinating brand new book to bring to your attention. I think it's one you'll find very eye-opening and thought-provoking. It's a book that really is a treasure. And it's a treasure because many of what is written in this has not seen the light of day in 150 years. And this was put together by a good friend of ours, Dr. Jonathan White. And you've probably heard that name if you follow my channel. I interviewed Dr. White, probably a few months back. And if you haven't seen that video, check it out. But he has put together a book of Southern speeches that occurred right before the war. So let's dive into the details of this. Between January 1860 and April 1861, the South was immersed in one central question. What was it going to do about secession? Now, there are other questions too, like what was the political climate then? What were the people thinking and saying at that time? What were the arguments from those who were eager to leave the Union? And what about those who were reluctant, even torn with the issue of secession? This book captures all of that, and it's straight from the source, literally from those who lived through those times. It gives us an authentic window into the minds of the men who lived through this, and we hear directly from the voices across the South. Now, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and more, it's all in their words, men from those states. And it's their thoughts, their reasoning, and it's incredibly revealing what they had to say. Unfortunately, much of what passes for history today tends to cherry-pick certain narratives, as you know. We're often presented with a simplified or sanitized version of the past, and modern accounts frequently suggest that the South was somehow unified or unanimously pushing for secession. But the truth is far more complex, and that's what this book focuses on. It's going to show you that. There were sharp differences of opinion, and there were real debates, and there was serious hesitation when it came to secession. And this was even amongst the South's most iconic figures. Lee is looked at as one of our greatest Southern icons, but what many people don't know is that he wasn't a fire-eater secessionist. In fact, he wrestled deeply with the idea of secession, and like many others, he was ultimately pulled into secession by the force of events and the loyalty to his home state, not by any personal desire to dissolve the Union that his very father helped form. See, all of this information about secession and what men thought and the arguments that they had makes this book so valuable, especially if you're a historian and you love to read real historical accounts. This isn't revisionist history, it's recovered history. And I'd like to give a special thanks to Dr. Jonathan White for publishing all of these essays and articles and debates into a wonderful book. Like I said, many of these speeches, many of these debates, many of these articles have not seen the light of day in over 160 years. So this is truly a treasure for history and history lovers and historians alike. So get yourself a copy this weekend on ConfederateShop.com.